I'm Krista, and you're watching Amy's House. Today, we're going to take a tour of the cold room. If you're new here, we have a 25-acre homestead farm in southwestern Ontario, and I have a 15 by 100 square foot garden where I've made 3 by 5 beds in different sections, and I will post links of the videos below of that garden, and I have a whole series on the whole season, so you can just follow that. So I thought I would show you what I did with all the things that I grew, and we just take a tour of what I grew and why I grew it, and then how I've preserved it. So here we go. So I'll start on this side. I have at the bottom here, I have all of our spaghetti sauce, and I have some dried dehydrated tomato skins for making into tomato paste. Every year my mom has done spaghetti sauce, and I've done it myself for the last 3 years with my mom's help. And we have enough for the year. And then up here we have tomato jam, which is kind of like a tomato ketchup if you've never had it. It has a little bit of cloves and stuff in it too, so it has a little bit of a different taste, but it is delicious. And so I will be making more of that. We have some stewed tomatoes, and then we have pizza sauce. Up here we have peach salsa, and then just our regular salsa along there. Over here, I pressure canned for the first time some potatoes, which I'm hoping to use in the spring and summer months when our stored potatoes are soft or we've planted them for seed. And then we have a couple rows of apple pie filling, which is the first time I've done that. And then we have all this apple cider, which is also the first time we've made apple cider. We have pickled beets, zucchini relish, dill pickles, pickled beans, pickled radish seed pods. Then we have cowboy candy, which is the first time I've ever done that. So delicious, and we'll be doing lots of that in the future. And beside that we have, right beside it we have the cowboy candy syrup to put on meat like pork and things. And then the two at the end are red pepper jelly, because my daughter loves red pepper jelly. And then we have some dehydrated parsley and some other dehydrated seeds along there for sprouting if I decide I'm going to sprout this winter. Then we have canned peaches. We have grape jelly. We have a little bit of the dandelion jelly left. Then we have a whole bunch of apple sauce, and the little bit of maple syrup that we have left is down there. Then if we turn over here, this space is for our gourds and our pumpkins that we still have to bring in. We have our red potatoes and our white potatoes. So these are all white potatoes, these are all red potatoes. In that box we have sweet potatoes. In that box we have beets, and then we have our onions along there. And then down here in front we will also have our carrots and our parsnips in sand. So that is what the cold room looks like. So I'm upstairs in what is our dining room kitchen area, and this is my herb cabinet. And so all the herbs are now dried. I either use a dehydrator or I just hang them to dry. And we have a whole bunch in here. We have calendula, lemon balm, nettle, singing nettle. This is kind of tincture areas for cold and flu. Some of them I bought from a herbalist, some we've made. And then we have hyssop, we have feverfew, we have different barks, chamomile flowers, rosemary. Back here we have some tulsi and yarrow. All the different herbs that I grow in the herb garden, I dry. Most of these will be made into teas, but some of them we will make into infusions or some tinctures. So we do have some infusions, so in oil, and we do some in vinegar as well. So this is calendula oil. So I've taken olive oil and infused it with calendula, and when we need our salves or anything or lip balms, we can make them out of that. So that is what I've done with the herbs from the herb garden. And as I said at the end of my last herb garden tour, that I hope to next year kind of give you more of a rundown of how I harvest them, drying them, and then making them into different products. So if you would like to see what I have in my herb garden, feel free to go and look back at that series, and stay tuned in the next summer and fall to see how I get all these. So now I'm at Amien's house, and I'm down here with all the freezers. In this house, we have a large chest freezer, a smaller chest freezer, a small stand-up freezer. There's another large stand-up freezer in the coach house, and then we have the freezer on top of the fridge. In the other house, we have a small chest freezer and the freezer within the fridge. So here, how we have stored our and used our freezers. We'll start with this small chest freezer. It is full of whole chickens, 100% full of our pasture raised chicken that we had all year. In this large chest freezer, we have all of our cuts of meat. So we take some of our meat and we cut it up into legs, breasts, thighs, wings, and then we'll have the carcasses for broth, and we did a couple halves, and I think we only have 1/4. Jeff cut a few in quarters, and we only have one of those left. So each of these baskets has a different set of cuts, or the box have different cuts. So everything is kind of organized. You can just move the basket that you want and get the cuts that you need. On this side of the freezer is all of the organ meat and the chicken legs. And we feed that to our animals, our cats, and we have some customers that like the feet for their dogs as treats, so we have those as well. So that's all our chicken is in these two freezers. In this small stand-up freezer, we have all of our corn that we froze this year. We have zucchini and our blueberries. The bottom half of the freezer is my brother-in-law's beef, because he just moved and they're waiting for their freezer. On the door, we have soups, we have jams, and pesto, and some tallow that I'm gonna render quite soon. So I pulled it out to be kind of at the top of or really accessible so I could get to it. In the top of this fridge freezer is all of the bones for bone broth. So we have chicken all along the bottom here, and in this box is all the beef bones that I'm going to make broth from. And then we have a little bit of cheese just for when we're here to eat, and we have a few soups on the door, and then just regular eating stuff. So this is our large freezer in the coach house, and it has all of our beef. So we have it again organized with mince. We have roasts. We have all of our bones down there on the door. We have more steaks and roasts. And then we also have some customer chickens that haven't been picked up yet. So that's how we have stored all of our harvest. So the vegetables we've canned, we've frozen, we've picked berries, and we've frozen most of them or made them into jams. We have our pasture raised chickens, which we have as wholes or frozen in parts. And then I have all the bones to make broth, which we then freeze and is in our small freezer at the other house, the chest freezer. I have blocks of broth there. And then we have our grass finished beef that we grew all summer. It's also here, and that's our food for the year. We will be doing pork, and the pork will be fitting in when my brother-in-law's beef go, and when the people pick up their chickens, there'll be enough space for us to be able to put our pasture-raised pork in there as well. So how we use these freezers at Amiens is we use them like the grocery store, and then we basically shop here whenever we need to fill up our small chest freezer or the fridge freezer at the other house. So we'll have a couple chickens at the other house, some hamburger at the other house. We'll have 2 packs of corn and some zucchini if we want to make any breads or anything. And then when we're here, we just shop and then refill up our freezers at the other house. I hope you found this video really interesting, how we preserve our food and how we store it for the year. If you want to see more details on how I do the preserving, I usually post quite a lot on Instagram, so you can follow us there. I also show some baking that we do. So if you need any of those, you can find us in there. Also Facebook. And please like and share this video if you find it interesting. I hope you take some time to simply breathe, and I'll catch you on the next one.